Hello, kindergarten class. This is Miss Ashley. I hope that you guys enjoyed the lesson today and kind of began to understand and grasp the concept of the numbers 11 through 19. As you can recall, today we kind of broke down those numbers between tens and the ones that are in each number. So, for example, in this Common Core Standard, we have 18 being one group of 10 and 8 ones. So we did identify those numbers 11 through 19 using that exact same equation. And then also, if you remember, our objective was to identify it using different representations. So using the 20 frame, which we went over in class, using the physical manipulatives. And then also I wanted to go into the digital manipulatives, which we are doing right now in the screencast. Digital manipulatives are great if you don't have the ones that we had in class. Not everyone has access to those. I know you guys don't have access to those at home. So it's good that there are websites out there that actually allow you to look at them online. So if you guys want to follow along with me, I'll pause it here and there so you have a few seconds to get onto the website. It is called http://nlvm.usu.edu. And that NLVM actually stands for National Library of Virtual Manipulatives. I know I call them digital manipulatives. They can be called digital or virtual. It just means that they're on the computer. So I'll give you guys a second to get there as I'm getting there myself. You might have to pull them up in in Internet Explorer, because mine unfortunately did not work in Chrome because of Java. But just check with your parents and have them help you if you need help. But this is the screen. This is the first screen you pull up to. This is their home page. So again, at the top you can see National Library of Virtual Manipulatives right there. It's actually made by Utah State University. So it's going to be a little bit more basic than another website it's just not as advanced, but it's perfect for what we're learning. So we're going to meet in the column pre-K to 2 / numbers and operations. We'll go ahead and click that, and it brings you to this list of activities. So we're going to look simply at the base blocks for now. It's the second one on the list. In the base blocks it says illustrate addition and subtraction in a variety of bases. So we might not have gone over addition and subtraction as well, but if there's anyone that knows how to do it and wants to, also see there's a bunch of little games and things you can go on in your free time and do. But right now we're just going to focus on the base blocks, so I'll go ahead and pull that up. It might ask you to run the program, and you can go ahead and just click run. So here is the screen. It's pretty basic, like I said. We're just going to focus on this column, which is the 10 rod. It looks familiar, but it might just be a little bit confusing because it's sideways instead of how we use them in class, which was vertically. But these are just horizontal. And then you also have your 1 units. So what happens when you press the buttons? Let's try. So when you press this, a 1 appears on the right side as well as a 1 in the 1 units. You can move them around if you wanted to make them into a line, horizontally or vertically, whatever makes you visualize it better. And then the same thing happens when you hit a 10 rod. And then also you can see, as I added a 10 rod to that, the 12 also appeared on the right side, because 1 10 and 2 1s is 12. If you want to start over, you can actually just hit that little trash can on the bottom. Oh, I'm sorry, on the top right is the clear. So then, with these manipulatives, it kind of still breaks it down for you. It's in those 2 columns, and we could do exactly what we did in class. So if I gave you the number 14, for instance, you would be able to click the 10 rod, which is 10, and then also you'd realize either that there's 4 of these, or you could click until you actually saw the number 14, and then from there count how many times you clicked, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 units. So there's your 14. Another cool part of this is that you can build up to that 10 block. So remember, before we did this lesson, we went into a lesson on the numbers 1 through 10. And we realized that 10 of these 1 units equaled one of those 10 rods. And I'll show you how this program makes you learn that. Is because if you look to the right, there's no number, even though we have 10 ones. But that's because we can move these all over at once and make that into a 10 rod. So if you move them all close enough to each other, and you drag your mouse like this, they'll automatically become a 10 rod. And then from there, you know where they belong, which is over in this column. So that's pretty cool, because again, it forces you to realize that 10 1 units equals that 10 rod. So this time, like I said in class, we're going to start with the 10 rod. And then for you kids who do understand this, you can go ahead and you can play around with it. You can add a bunch of 10 rods if you'd like. So right now I have 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. But look, again, that 100 went away. So we gotta wonder, well, maybe that means that 10 of these equal 1 of another one of these. So let's go ahead and highlight them all and see what happens. Look, they made it into something that looks exactly like that one. So it leads me to believe that this is a 100 frame. So I know we didn't go over that in class, but we might be going over it soon, so it might be a good idea to try it around. So again, let's hit clear, and let's use blocks to represent a number, which it said. So let's do the number 19. So I'm going to give you guys a second to try it out, and then I'll show you exactly what I did to find the answer. So I'll give you about 15 seconds to try. Alright guys, so the first thing that you should have done is just added that 10 frame, because that's what, remember, that was our base of everything today. We started with the 10 frame. We started with the 10 rod, I'm sorry. And then we started with the 10 frame. So we're always going to start with that 10. And then we're going to add our ones. And then we would add 9 ones, because 10 plus 9 equals 19. So this is just a cool little website for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Play around with it. If you're looking forward and think you're going ahead of everyone else, go ahead and try out the other games on the website. Like I said, there's a bunch of them, like Base Blocks Edition, for example. This one's a cool one. So 1 plus 9, which we think is 10, I believe, right? You think that's 10? I think it is if you count it up. And then again, you highlight them, and you move them over to the tens, and then your answer pops up. Next problem. 3 plus 7. What do we think that is? Let's move them all together so we can count them all. We realize that 3 plus 7 seems to be a 10, and we move that over, and it's a 10. Next problem. This is a harder one, see? So you're going to have harder and harder problems as you go along. So if you guys want to try it, feel free. I hope that you guys had fun in the class, and I hope that you kind of grasp what we're going on and even have a sneak peek to what's going on in our next class. Thank you guys.